Penn State's offense is terrible right now. Absolutely atrocious. Rex is saying 45-10 OSU. Okay, that's a good prediction. I'd go Penn State to score a couple more points. I think the Buckeyes would win that game like, I don't know, 38-17 maybe. That's going to be my pick. Yeah, that's the worst loss in the top by far. Yeah, I mean, let me look at the rankings in college football. Because Georgia had a bye week, right? Georgia didn't play. Yeah, Georgia didn't play. Pretty much the expected happened for the most part, except for the fact that Coastal Carolina lost Wednesday. Penn State lost to Illinois. Oklahoma, for some reason, still stinks, but is still undefeated. I've never seen a worse undefeated team than Oklahoma. Can anybody think of a worse undefeated college? Well, actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I take back that statement. Anytime Notre Dame has been undefeated since the BCS era started, they've been worse than this Oklahoma team. But Oklahoma got shut out in the first half by Kansas. You think Illinois is bad at football? Kansas is bad at football. Kansas stinks. They were down 10-0 at half. Atrocious from the Sooners. Yeah, no, OSU's D-line to do whatever they wanted. It's like playing NCAA football on your PlayStation on beginner is what that game felt like. How many sacks did OSU have? Let me check the team stats. Ohio State football. Should be on their website. Let me check the stats. Ohio State University athletics, men's sports, overwhelm Indiana. Stats. There we go. Ohio State football stats. Following error occurred. Lovely. I love that. Go here. What the hell do I just look at the stats? It's really weird. Kind of want to look this up. Okay, you guys answered the question anyway. Good. I don't have to look for it anymore. All right, 8. So 8 sacks. 2014 FSU that played Oregon in the first playoff was a bad undefeated team. Yep, they were pretty bad. Jameis Winston was busy he found out some good crab recipes, and he was looking to experiment with them, right? That's what he was busy with that year. Good for him. Good for Jameis Winston and his crab recipes. I'm glad he enjoyed his seafood meals. But now let's see if OSU moves up. Because if you look at the top 25, Georgia had a bye week. They'll stay number 1. Cincinnati won. Oklahoma won against a terrible team and played terribly. Alabama won again, and Ohio State won. Do we see Ohio State move above Alabama? I'm assuming all the OSU fans are going to think yes. But let's not forget that Alabama also played very well today. They won 52-24 against Tennessee. To be fair, they struggled a little bit in the first half. They were only up 21-14 at the end of the first half. They really stomped them in the fourth quarter. That's really kind of the difference in that game for the Tide. But does OSU move up above Alabama? I think no. Personally, I wouldn't move Ohio State above Alabama. I don't think Ohio State has enough big-time wins against really quality opponents compared to Bama, because Bama's beat Ole Miss, they beat Florida, beat Miami back when they were ranked, whereas Ohio State, the only ranked team they've played, right? They've only played one ranked team this year. Yep, they've only faced one ranked team, and they lost to that ranked team, which is going to go against them. If they beat Penn State, then there's a case for Ohio State to move above Alabama potentially. Got more sacks than either of the Bosa or Chase had in their freshman year, and more sacks than Jay Coop had his whole career, I think. Yeah, that kid is a monster. The whole team is full of just amazing freshmen. The youth in that team and how good they're playing is phenomenal. Ohio State looks great. Michigan played well. Who'd Michigan play? They beat Northwestern 33-7. Not a stomping. A big win, but not a stomping. Michigan State didn't play this week. Oklahoma State lost, so Oklahoma State's out of the picture. But, the story is the same for the playoff picture, like we said. Ohio State has to win out. They have to beat Michigan. They have to beat Michigan State to win their division. And if they win their division, I think they can beat Iowa. But again, the question remains. Well, here's what could be bad for OSU. If OSU were to win the Big Ten and Oklahoma were to finish undefeated, Cincinnati were to finish undefeated, and let's say Bama made the SEC championship and beat Georgia, then the committee might put Bama and Georgia in, which would just be infuriating for Ohio State fans. And OSU would be the first team out. I don't think that happens. I just don't see why. In terms of a football team, Ohio State is so much better than Oklahoma. Oklahoma is not good. The best game Oklahoma's played all year was against TCU, but they struggled to beat Kansas. They had to have a miraculous comeback to beat Texas, struggled against Kansas State, struggled against West Virginia, struggled against Nebraska, struggled against Tulane. Oklahoma's had 2 comfortable wins this year against West Carolina and TCU. That's it. So 2 wins out of 8 that have been comfortable. Ohio State, every game they've won has been a comfortable win, with the 1 loss, of course. So I get Oklahoma being undefeated and being ranked above OSU in that regard, but OSU is a better football team than Oklahoma. Absolutely. Yeah, no reason Miami should have been ranked. Miami stinks. Oklahoma or Cincy is out? Yeah, probably. If Ohio State plays the way they're playing and they win out and win the Big Ten, yeah, I don't see why they can't have Ohio State in the playoff. Plus, they know that OSU in the playoff helps the ratings. Like, at the end of the day, they've got to think about that too. As much as the committee wants to put the 4 best teams into the playoff, at the end of the day, they know what people want to watch. And they know people would want to watch Ohio State play Georgia in a semifinal, or Ohio State play Cincinnati in a semifinal. Nobody wants to watch Cincinnati play Oklahoma in a college football playoff semifinal, unless you're a hardcore fan / Cincy Oklahoma fan, obviously. But a Cincinnati Oklahoma semifinal doesn't draw an audience. Cincinnati OSU draws an audience. There's an intrigue in there because they're in-state teams playing against each other. Georgia OSU is a big-time matchup, best offense against best defense. Cincinnati Oklahoma doesn't draw an audience. I think OU will catch it up before the end of the year. Yeah, they've got to. And I know we've been saying that every time we've done a post game, but golly, they keep finding ways to win. They got Texas Tech next, then they got Baylor after a bye week. Then they got the Cyclones, who just beat Oklahoma State, and then they got Oklahoma State. You'd think they would drop one of those games, and you think they would drop one of these games that they played. You'd think that Texas would be able to hold whatever lead they had and beat Oklahoma. Texas was up 38-20 at half, and they lost 55-48 in that game. That was Texas just completely blew that one. Totally. But where's that loss going to come? When is Oklahoma finally not going to have enough in the tank to lose a game, which would definitely put a Big Ten team in the playoff without question? No matter if Michigan State, whatever team had one loss, won the division or whatever, without question, that's how a team would get into the playoff from the Big Ten. I don't know about Cincinnati. Who's Cincinnati playing for the rest of the season? I mean, Cincinnati, you'd think, is going to win the rest of their games. They play Tulane next. Tulane is going to be a tough game, I think. Tulsa, another game that could be tough. South Florida. Cincy SMU could be big. SMU looks good. How are the Mustangs doing? Are they undefeated? Yeah, the Mustangs are undefeated. Beat Tulane today, 55-26. Oh, no, they beat them on Thursday. So they play Houston, Memphis, UCF. SMU might be the team to take down Cincinnati, which would knock out Cincy's chances. Baylor could beat Oklahoma. Yeah, Baylor's probably the next best bet. I don't know about Texas Tech, but who knows? Oklahoma struggled against Kansas, so we never know with them. Yeah, at Baylor's a big game. That'll be the big game for Oklahoma. That could be the one where they take an L. Baylor had the week off. They're playing Texas, then TCU, then they're going to play Oklahoma. So we'll see if those L's are taken. But Ohio State, I would say Ohio State is the second hottest team in the country. Based purely on the way they're playing. Not like, I get the whole thing of, they don't have better wins than whoever. Like, I get that. But If we're going purely just based off of watching the games and seeing the way they're playing football, Ohio State is playing like the second best team in the country behind Georgia. Georgia is by far the best team in the nation. And I think right now Ohio State is playing like the second best team in the nation. They're the second hottest team in the country. I think they're playing better than Cincinnati. They're definitely playing better than Oklahoma. And then Alabama lost the game more recently.